Jesus. How you doing, everyone? Episode number 3. Episode number 3. What's going on, guys? Welcome. In this episode we're going to be doing the timing. There's not much to it, you just need to follow the steps, so I'll be showing you how to do that. There's a few other little things, bits and pieces along the way that we'll be doing. And also before you watch this episode, I just want to make note that the clip at the end of episode 2, which is for episode number 3, the actual clip that you see, that work I don't actually do in this episode, because when I edited it this time, I decided that I wanted to make these videos a bit shorter. So that work that you see in that little clip at the end of episode number 2, which is meant to be episode number 3, that footage, you'll see that in episode number 4. So I just wanted to clarify that in case anyone was halfway through or got to the end of the episode and think that they may have clicked on something wrong or something like that. Okay, guys. So we will be getting straight into where we left off from the previous episode. We need to set our timing up, and then once our timing's set, we can then release these idle tensioners, and then from there that will release the tension off the belt. So then we can start taking these cam gears off, then we can take this backing plate, and then we can start taking the cams out. We'll go ahead and turn this over. So what you do is you just put the crankshaft bolt back in its thread, and you tighten it up until it's just tight enough to turn it over. So if you can see this yellow mark just here, we want to spin this wheel, or this cam gear all the way around till it meets this yellow line over here. And this one will have one as well, so we're going to take this off. Actually, we should do this first, so we'll take this off first so that we can see where the other marking is. The other marking should be on one of these teeth, and then we want to mark it up with that one down there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take this. This is just a mounting bracket. Oh my god. This is a mounting bracket that sensor was on. I can't remember what it's called, but that's all that's there for. So we'll crack these, and right, so that's off. So this should just come up. Is there anything else? No. Nope. So that should just come up. There we go. Alrighty, so just because it's a bit hard to get all 3 camera angles, so we'll set these 2 up first. And this should be alright. Once these 2 are lined up, this bottom one should be correct if the previous person who did the timing belt, whenever that was done, did it properly. So when you actually start turning this over, there is quite a bit of resistance, because you're actually opening and closing the valves, so you're working against all the resistance within the engine, so you're manually turning it over. So I don't know whether you guys can see, but that is looking at that straight on, so there's no, I think it's called parallax error. So because that marking is obviously the thickness of the cam gear, so you can see that's looking at it from straight, and then this is the one on the inlet, and that's marked there. So it's out of fraction. That would just probably be because whoever did this didn't eye it up properly. To get this last increment lined up down here, you need to use the balancer to do that. So if you notice on the balancer here, it's got increments. So when you put the balancer in, it can only go one way, which is this way. So these increments are on the back side, so they will eventually line up down the bottom. If you watched the previous episode and I called this a keeper, this is actually not a keeper. I actually found out the right name for this. This is called a Woodruff key. So this key sits in the crankshaft down here, and then it slots into this balancer and keeps it all together. So it's called a Woodruff key. That little, so that's loosened now. So that little overcompensation that we just did, that's not lined back up. So when we put the Woodruff key back in with the balancer, we'll be able to turn the balancer by hand to just line it up properly. So if you guys can see that there, that's the groove. So we'll get our key, our Woodruff key, and we'll put him in there. So he'll sit nice and tight, like that. And then we'll get our balancer, we'll slot him over the top, and then we'll turn her over. So we're just going to put that key into that groove when we slide it on. Bit of a jiggle. Alright, just this is why I am this is why I'm not qualified, kind of remember things as I go. So that marking down there on this section behind this balancer isn't the mark that we're actually after. It's this mark here. This mark is dented and it's specifically there to line up the timing. Bit of gentle persuasion. Almost dropped it. Got it! Alright, so we'll put this, I'll get some, are these it? Yeah, they are. No, they're not. Idiot. Come on, mate. Figure it out. Fuck, it's hot. I'm not looking forward to summer. Jesus. Alright, so we're going to tuck this on. Oh. Hopefully I can get my shit together. If I had known that I had to leave these on. Fuck you! Let's try again. If I had known that I had to leave this cover on to do the timing. Sorry, if I had known that I needed this cover to do the timing, I would have done that. I would have left it on. Alright, so that's in place. So now we're going to do what we just did before. So now we're going to put the balancer on. Should I put... Alrighty, so this marking here that we've got on the cam gear is slightly higher than the marking that we've got on the backing plate, and that does directly relate to this balancer down here being a bit too far forward of that mark. So we're going to turn it over a smidgen, a little bit more. Smidgen more. And that's nice and straight. So we can see that this marking here, come down to the right level, so you can see that that marking is on point. And as we discussed before, this person obviously just was a bit careless in the way that they marked this off, so that's slightly off, but I think that that's where it's meant to be. And then if you can see down here, this marking, so each one of these is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 markings. I don't understand why there's 7 markings, but we need to run off the first marking. Sorry, I'll zoom out. 1, 2, there's 7 markings down here. We need to run off the first marking, as first marking is for cylinder number 1 at top dead center. That's where we need to set everything up to be. So this marking lines up with here. There is a bit of a gap here, but I can see eyeballing from the top that that is definitely in line. So we can now continue to take off the timing belt. Alright, we'll get Mr. Copperface hammer. Give it a bit of a... Oh, you fuck. That's not what we want to do. We don't want to drop this fucking thing. That was a bit careless. Alright, so now we'll take this cover back off. Alrighty. Alrighty then. So to release the tension, we need to go for this idler here. This is the one with the spring load. So we can see, well, I'll show you when I get it off, but and I'll show you how we tighten this thing. But this is the one that we go for first, because this is the one that is used to set the tension of the belt. And I know this because it's got an Allen key hole down here. So when you set the tension of it, you've got your one hand on your spanner, sorry, ratchet, whatever you're using. You've got another hand on your Allen key. So your Allen key actually rotates this around on an axis, which is off center from this circle, from this idle tensioner, and that's how you set the tension on your timing belt. You can see the hole down here. You see that one there? So that's what the Allen key goes into. So we'll chuck him in there. And then as we rotate the Allen key, you can see that this pivot is off center to the idle tensioner. So when we put the Allen key in and we move the Allen key, consequently that will rotate it off and loses tension on the belt. So that is indeed how we do this. That spring load just pushes the idle back, and then you will tighten it, pulling it this way, opposite. You can see, I don't know whether you can see the tension on the belt moving at all, but I can definitely see that. And then you'll hold your Allen key here, and then you'll lock it off with your nut, and that's how you set the tension of the belt. And here we go. Here we go. Business is happening. Alright, there we go. So that's it there. That's the timing belt. That's how thick it is. It's nothing really. Sometimes you can get belts that are directional. That will just have arrows pointing in the direction that the whole system will turn. I'll have a look at a price, but I would probably and definitely idiot. Two different words. I will definitely be getting a timing belt kit, so we'll be doing that one. Now it doesn't matter that I'm turning these. If you're wondering, oh my god, what the fuck, man, like you just timed this and now like it's all out, that's not why we did that. We did this because we needed to make sure that when we put this back together, that this and this will line up with top dead center down the bottom, because we're not touching the bottom end. So that's what that is. This bottom end is a reference, so we work off the reference. And because we know that we've set the timing right before we took this off, when we put it back together, we don't have to double question ourselves as to whether it was done right or not. So that doesn't matter that these cams have to come off anyway. So we'll just break these. You can use an impact if you want, but it's just quicker to do it this way. Now we just give a bit of a wiggle, and that's the gear. And it's got a locating pin on the end of the cam, so you know which spot that goes back in. I'm excited to get this out, like the head out and stuff, so I can start like cleaning in here, because I want to like make it look nice and clean, and I might see if I can fix where there's like worn like wraps, like electrical tape, like around cables or stuff like that. So I want to just clean it up a bit. There is a bit of dust in here, so, and a bit of oil everywhere, so we'll be doing a bit of a clean when we get the head off. Take these off. Don't forget to bring them out with their washers. That's them there. Alright. Now they're out of post, so now we can Loosen this off. There's a little bracket behind this cover. Did not even know that was there. It looks so cool. Okay, so it's just a 14mm. Oh man, that was tight. Oh my god. Okay, so now that you've seen how to do the timing, now I will note that this is the way that I decided to do it, this is the way that I was taught to do it. There may be other ways that you can actually do the timing, and I'm not sure of any other ways that it can be done. And you may have also caught on to the hints that I've been dropping. I think there was one hint or two hints, and you're looking at another hint right now. I'm not going to point it out to you, but you're seeing it. So the surprise is the hint, and I don't want to admit that I'm excited about it, but I kind of am excited about it. I shouldn't be excited about it, but then I should be as well. It costs a lot of money. Also, all those things that I mentioned that I was going to be doing, the little things in there like cleaning up the engine bay and, you know, redoing the wires and stuff like that, they're things that I will be doing. And when you actually figure out the surprise, or you know, the hidden thing, or whatever this thing is that I'm going on about, then I'll actually be explaining a lot more of what I'll be doing. So I'm quite excited about it. Can't wait. Anyway, I'm hell excited about it. I hope you guys will be excited about it as well. Fuck. And there's one thing that I have to notice. These planes, I've never noticed how many planes fly over my house until I've actually like sat down and edited this footage. It is ridiculous. I do not live anywhere near an airport, and like for some reason there's just like half my videos are just fucking listening to planes the whole time. It's so annoying. Fuck you. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave a like, leave a thumbs up. It helps me out, it helps my channel grow, helps me get noticed, so more people like you can find my videos. There, choking. As always guys, we will see you on... No, that's too fast. Bruh, 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 bruh. As always guys, we will see you on the next one.